Show. Today we have an amazing treat. We have another Dr. Ramsey on the show, and that is none other than Jamil Ramsey, my better half. And we are going to be talking all about power couple goals, the playbook that we have written and we continue to write, and what it really takes to build a business, a successful business with your spouse. And we have a thing or two to say about this, and we'll get right into it right after this. Yes. Okay. Look, I love it when technology works properly. So, welcome to the show, love.
Hey, always glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited about just, our opportunity to have this conversation and just be real candid about what it really takes to be a power couple and what it means to us and what it means to build a successful business. So, before we just jump all in, I want you to give a little rundown of your bio for everybody. You're not new to the show, but you may be new to somebody who's listening to this episode.
All right, Dr. Jamil Ramsey, the husband of the fabulous Dr. Kiki Ramsey, 20-year technologist, CTO of Picati, the greatest coaching company out there. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm the technical end of this deal, and I'm always about just educating and mentoring and advancing, us Black people in the technical spaces.
I love it. I love it. And we need it so very, very, very much. So tell us what your superpower is. Of course, as a positive psychologist, I believe that we all have superpowers. And I want you to tell them what yours is.
It ebbs and flows. My greatest superpower is organization and strategy. I like to analyze, break things down, and make plans, which makes technology work for me.
Yeah, I love it. And I think that you're so desirable with your skills in the market. People are always looking for people with technical skills. The one thing that I hear a lot of people say, I'm just not tech savvy. I don't know anything about technology and everything like that. And you know me at home, I can be like, Jamil, come here, help me fix. I need you to help me fix something. And so I'm glad that those are your skills, and then I get to utilize them on a daily basis. So this, the title of today's show is like Power Couple Playbook. I want to know, what's your definition of a power couple, because I have my own definition of what I think a power couple really is.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty simple. It's two people who can understand what their strengths are and be able to merge them together to advance some kind of agenda.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think, like, necessarily a power couple has to work in the same business, because I see people in the media, and I think they're power couples, like a Beyonce and a Jay-Z, and a Michelle and a Barack Obama. Like, all those to me are power couples. They might not work in the same businesses per se, but they're still power couples.
Yeah, I mean, for the majority of our marriage, we were a power couple in separate spaces.
Yeah, true. And that was good. And now this is now, and we actually, work together full time now in Peacaddy, and that is definitely different. Right. Before we were working together, we had about 2 days a week at home together, and now we have 7 days, right, a week at home together. What do you feel about the transition?
The transition is less about us working together now, more than just being accustomed of not working for someone else. It's a different thing when you have your total resources to put into advancing your own personal company and brand and things of that nature. So that's the biggest adjustment. Our marriage has taught me over the years how to work together.
Yeah.
Now it's just having an opportunity to do that on a more regular basis.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that, and I totally agree with you, because marriage has definitely taught us how to work together. And we've had to learn how to communicate better. We've had to learn how to parent better. I mean, just all of those things. But now we can take those things and bring those into our relationship, or in as a team. And now our relationship is going to be, more outward facing than it was before. So I think, somewhat of the level of privacy that we had because we were not working together, I think that's going to be less, because we're now integrating a lot of the things that we do together, in the public's eye, right? We're able to now go to events together and support each other with those kinds of things, and I think that's going to be super important. But it's going to change those dynamics. Do you feel like that's going to be a change for the better, or uh, I don't like to say change for the worse, because I know we all work it out. But how do you feel about that public facingness of our relationship now?
I feel excited about it. It doesn't bother me because it's something I've been missing. I like being involved in what we're doing and being a face for our organization and being able to show up together. I mean, many people may not know, but we both teach at Life University, and we had the opportunity to go to an event together.
Yep.
And people are like, oh, yeah, Dr. Ramsey and Dr. Ramsey.
They're like, we've never seen y'all together. I'm like, we both exist. We both exist. And so, no, that was a real cool event.
Yeah, I mean, but it is a real thing. Like, we are now enmeshed together 24/7. So it could be a problem, but I thought about it a lot. And just over the years, I've learned how to create space for myself. And
Yeah.
that way, there's a balance because, between balancing us working together in a business, us working together with the children, and then us just being together. It's always important just to carve out a little bit of time for yourself. And we both do a good job of that in separate ways.
Yeah. Yeah. It is we have to because otherwise we probably kill each other. And you got your own things and I got my own things, and I love that. So what do you think people assume about building a business with your spouse that might not be true?
That because y'all together, y'all do the same things in the same way, even because y'all have the same goals. So
Mm.
we all come with these unspoken expectations for our partners, and we put those right on top of everything we do. And if you can learn how to not do that and communicate and ask questions, you can kind of get around that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do think that people but think that we probably do the same things. We always together, like, and we are, but in our house, we separate. Like, I mean, I, I could almost go the whole morning without seeing you. I mean, I see you, but you be in your office and I'll be in my office. Like right now, y'all, we both in our respective offices in our house. So, I mean, we could have been on the same screen, but we got our own setups and stuff like that. And I think it works. And so we may meet upstairs for lunch, but there's been days where I seen you at the end of the day.
Yep. And then on the flip side, she'll come in the office and sit on my chair, and I'll come in her office, sit on her couch, and we'll continue to communicate and vibe throughout the day.
Yes, yes. Hey, Dr. Christina, thank you for joining us live on today's show. I think that people also may think that we might get tired of each other because we work with each other all the time and we're always, together per se, that we might get tired of each other. But I don't get tired of you. I mean, like, and that's the beauty of y'all, of liking your spouse, right? Like, you don't get tired of a person who you like. Of course I love you, but I also like you. I like our conversations. I like being around you. So I think that's a misconception about, us, because we're together all the time, we might start to hate each other. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll co-sign. I like you too, and think I built my life around liking you. So for me, it's not that bad. Like I said, I built. I'm honest about my needs and where I'm at and the things I need to be okay. And our marriage gives us space to do that.
Hmm. So I guess tell everybody how we decided to first blend marriage and business, and particularly what fears might have came up for you when we decided to go on this journey, because this journey started long before we actually got to this place.
Oh, the first journey, I didn't think about none of that at all. Ignorance is bliss.
True.
And we started businesses out of necessity. We were a young broke couple trying to make it in this world, living in an expensive market and trying to start businesses.
Yep.
And just ignorant enough to think that, hey, we're married and we like each other, it'll just work out.
Ooh, yeah. I remember. So y'all, our very first businesses that we started and we kind of worked together. Jamil was doing insurance and I was doing real estate. And I ain't never been a great real estate agent. Like I never sold a house. But Jamil, you actually became pretty decent at selling insurance.
Yeah, I mean, we end up being a jack of all trades, end up getting pretty decent on the insurance. Started going out prospecting for homes and driving around and doing all that stuff.
Yeah. Y'all, we actually, oh my God, this is so funny. We actually we had a real estate business, a real estate company, and it was called Ram and Ram Real Estate. I remember, y'all, we used to have the signs that you stick on the side of the highway in people's yards and stuff. Ram and Ram Real Estate. We have come a long way since Ram and Ram Real Estate, but that's where it started.
Yeah, so those businesses ultimately phased out, and then I was your technical and design and everything in all of your early stage businesses, and that's where we really learned what it is to work inside of a business, because that was our first true business of, hey, we got this idea, we're going to build it from scratch and figure all that stuff out. And that's when it really, the rubber hit the road, because one thing I learned is that if you're immature in your marriage, you're going to be immature in your business relationship. You're going to be immature all around, and it's going to be very difficult to manage.
Ooh, talk about that. Because this is what they came from. They want to hear the ins and the outs and the ups and the downs.
Yeah, so by immature, meaning you don't have strong communication skills in your marriage. Conflict resolution isn't strong, and your expectations are through the roof. Yeah. They should be able to know and anticipate and manage for you and your personality, and vice versa. And we learned in our early marriage that, it's just not natural. It's work. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions people think with power couples, is that they are just power couples because they just come together. Yep. And no, there's a process and a story behind that image that no one gets to see, because no one gets to see the work behind.
No, they don't. And oh my God, we used to argue so much. Like, oh my God. We used to argue so much. I used to be so mad at you. I used to, even ask the questions like, I don't even know how we got married. We can't even communicate properly with each other. Like, it was so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually fired you as a client in our first business.
Y'all, okay, listen. Jamil was doing all of my technical stuff. I was new to business, but baby, I ain't look new, honey, because my websites was on point. I was on point, and I was very new. So you couldn't tell I was new, but you literally fired me and quit because you're like, I can't work with you no more. And y'all, we are married. And by this time, we're still married for a couple of years. Like, it's not like we were like brand new, but you still fired me. And I was pissed. I was so mad because you left me to have to find somebody else to deal with all of this. And I ultimately did it, but I wasn't happy about it for sure.
But that was a big growth experience. Like having to understand, because we was married, the lines were blurred as what value I brought to the organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was a way of, hey, you got to experience what most people experience trying to develop a business, and then you can learn and appreciate what that is. And that's not even to say that I didn't have things I had to figure out. I had to learn how to balance these relationships, to have agency, be able to communicate properly. So I fired her, said, I'm gonna let you do what you do. And I took the challenge of making sure the family was gonna be okay, and I actually funded those early stage businesses. So we end up developing in those roles as we grew.
So that to me was one of the most pivotal times in this business that we're able to come together now and run. You said two things. One, I didn't value you the way that I could have, because we had no boundaries. There were the lines were blurred. And even then I can remember us having conversations about even our communication styles and the way you would talk to me, because you can sometimes have a real like crunchy attitude about things. And people be like, really? Jamil? I'm like, don't even get me started. Like, my husband can be abrupt. He can be, just real crunchy at times. And I the way you talk to me, I don't like it.
Yeah, I could be the stereotypical technical person.
Yes, that part. And because I was your wife, we had to separate that from what I needed from the relationship with us working together and the relationship of us being partners. And there was two different things to me. And I didn't know that going in. And so that caused a lot of communication problems that we ultimately had in the beginning. And I'm not saying that we perfect now, but we've come, good God, a long way. We've been married for 22 years. And it's nothing like it was in the beginning, but we did have to work at it. So that's a myth that we busted. We had to work at it, and we have to continue to work at it. But what I want to get into is the decision that we made together for you to continue to hold the family down with a job. See, we are opening up the playbook and telling y'all how it has worked for us. I don't think a lot of people do this. You'll see couples, or you'll see people out there with successful businesses, but they don't tell you that they had somebody else holding it down at home, paying the bills, while you was out there being able to be fearless, or go out there and try to figure out how to make this work. So talk about like when we made that decision and what that potentially even felt like for you.
Yeah, no, we've been entrepreneur for our whole marriage, and my whole life's always been trying to have some kind of hustle. So I was in a tech accelerator at one point, and we had mentors come through and talk to us about their journeys. and there was a common thread throughout it. I had one person come and talking about a $40 million exit that he had. And he talked about how if it wasn't for his wife working so that he could spend all his time on his business, he never would have made it. Mm-hmm. And then it was similar stories along the line. It's like all these people who started businesses, they had someone behind them supporting them, making sure that, you know, everything was in place so that they can run the business. And when I looked at where the state of our different ventures was, hers was the furthest along. So it was like, okay, that makes sense. Let's do that. And from our respective careers, the runway to me making money was a lot shorter in my career than it was in hers. Yeah. So it just made sense that, hey, I can focus on my career. You can get the 6 figures pretty quick, raises, benefits, the whole thing. I actually end up building a pretty solid technical career. And that actually is a extension of the businesses I run now, because all that experience is applicable. So it's not like I had anything to lose by building a career and getting recognized in the industry and just advancing that, and also making sure the family was taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was, you know, what I felt in the moment is that you truly gave me a gift, right? Like, I mean, it was strategic, of course, right? Because I was a social worker. So, baby, I wasn't about to be making those 6 figures no time soon. Okay. And we realized that. And of course, you were in the tech industry, so you could definitely get the 6 figures way faster than me. But I also feel like it was a gift because I was so committed to trying to grow. You know, when we first started, I was doing more speaking than I was, you know, then I was coaching. And I was so committed to doing that. And not to mention, I loved it so much. And so the opportunity for me to be able to do what I love on a full-time basis and know that the bills and the household was going to be taken care of, that was the ultimate gift. Like, it truly was the ultimate gift. And I want to say publicly, thank you, love, for allowing, you know, me to follow my dreams when you could have very easily been like, nope, I want to follow mine. Right. Mm-hmm. And we hear stories like that. So I want to, you know, ask you, like, what would you say to you know, a couple or, you know, someone who they both want to follow their dreams? Because there's some sacrifice, I think, that is involved in there. I don't know if you felt like it was sacrifice in the moment, but I want you to talk to that, because I think that it's this real true out here in these streets when people are trying to work together.
Yeah, there's a bit of sacrifice where you feel like you're losing something because you're not following your dreams. But being broke is worse than not following your dream. And I'll throw in something that's free. If you pick the right job, it's the best training ground for your dream.
Ooh, clock it. Like, seriously, that's so true, because guess what? They're paying you to do what you love to do. And then once that has run its course, guess what? You can go do what it is.
Yeah, I got paid a great salary to learn how to build software applications and platforms. So I can't be mad at that. And I can turn around and take the same talent, the same ability, and end up building something that I feel is more meaningful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you know, like, when you're in business, especially for yourself, you just work harder because it means more. Like, it means more. I think there's some misconceptions about entrepreneurship, right? There are some great parts about entrepreneurship because, you know, right now, neither you nor me have to ask nobody for permission to go nowhere. I remember you had one job and you asked for time off and they said no. I'm like, what you mean? Like, I was so shocked. And you were like, you've been an entrepreneur for too long. Like, people, they can say no, but I'm like, but what you mean? No, I'm a grown person. I need the time off. Like, how you gonna tell me no? Right then I knew it was time to go.
Yeah. Yeah. the more money you make and the more specialized you are, the harder it is for you to be replaced while you're gone. You know, it's the same thing on the entrepreneur side. Like when there are meetings and there are things that need to be done, there's no backup. You know, who's the backup? Me. Okay. But you do have the freedom of doing that work in other places. So that's
True.
the biggest difference.
And that's what I love. Meaning, because I mean, you know, we've been away or on vacation before, and I've had to pop open my laptop. So have you, right? To get some things done. But I think, you know, the misconception is that we don't work as much. We work more. Like
Yeah, much more. Because at
way
least
more.
my 9 to 5 is a 9 to 5, although, you know, being a developer and application, you know, we get emergency calls every now and then. But for the most part, when I leave the job is behind. When you work for yourself, you know, it's always around. And that's not it's positive in most respects, but sometimes it is a negative because there's nowhere to sit that thing down to allow somebody else to take it up while you get a break.
Yeah. So when we talked about boundaries earlier, right? And I think boundaries are so important, but then when you work together, it's like, you know, where are the boundaries? And so how do you think we do with our boundaries in terms of work mode and marriage mode?
I think the biggest thing out of all of this is that we've grown enough to take our egos out of the respective situations. Like we're all on the same team trying to advance the same mission, and we are highly intelligent, highly educated specialists. So the biggest thing is having enough patience and trust to let the person rock in their lane. And
Yeah.
once you get comfortable with that, you don't have to I don't have to second guess the decision you make for the
Yeah.
things that you make.
Yeah.
And then the same here. It's just the hardest thing as being an entrepreneur is that you're used to having all the things on your head. So learning to delegate as you transition to a bigger company is a separate thing in itself. That's less a power couple thing, but it's more of a scaling from a single person shop to a shop that has 20 people in it, and figuring out how to delegate and how to give up ownership of things that you don't really need ownership of anymore.
You're right. That's an entrepreneur thing. And I mean, even I'm still learning that lesson right now because before you came on a full-time basis, in my brain, I'm responsible for so many things that now are responsible for. And so it's hard to like automatically switch my brain off and be like, well, I need to know, I'm trying to map out how this works. And you're like, you don't need to figure out how it works. You need to tell me what you want done. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So it's a difficult thing, but that then goes into us learning how to work together now, because there are certain things that you're responsible for, and I don't have to hold in my brain anymore. And that's a great thing, but it's also hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, I'm very intentional of trying to help you think in terms of results rather than process. And I am a lot more gracious as far as how that process works. So
you are definitely way more patient than most people would be in these situations, which is why I know we're going to ultimately, be successful, because I want you to be successful in the things that you bring, because you are an expert at that stuff. Like, I don't want to have to do it. I just have been used to trying to hold that in my mind to figure it out because we didn't have that function. And so it's going to be, it's going to be amazing. So, God, the time has gone. Um, what another one of the questions I know people would ask is like, do we do we have specific times that we talk about business and we don't talk about business? Do we have those specific times?
No, I mean
Exactly.
we do. I mean we do a good job of our actual job functions being typically within what would be a traditional work hours.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, we don't really talk about the job per se, but more dream and vision casting area of business. So I think that's appropriate. But
Yeah.
do we get in the weeds of did these three tasks get done after hours? Not so much.
Yeah.
We're pretty good with that.
No, but we do talk about, and like you said, strategically vision cast and dream all the time. So people are like, because people are like, oh, you got to turn it off, you got to do this. We're always doing that. Like always when we go to dinner, like we just, if something pop in my head, if something pop in your head, we're always doing that. And I love that because I mean, it doesn't have to be during like 9 to 5 work hours where we, vision cast and dream. And the beautiful thing about that is that when we reach those goals and those dreams, we get to celebrate together. Like we get to do those things together. And I think that that's the most beautiful part um, to me, right? Um, so what if you could give one truth to a couple chasing power couple status? What would it be?
Take the time to understand what your strengths are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be the most beneficial and it will be applicable across your whole life. Like if you understand where the areas you're strong at, if your partner's doing the same thing, then y'all can figure out where your strengths are as a couple, and then in turn understand where are the gaps that y'all need to fill in.
Yeah. I love that because I love strengths, and you know my strengths very well, and you pump me up all the time. You're one of my biggest fans, and I'm one of your biggest fans. And I know your strengths very well. Recently, you just got accepted into to speak at a SHRM conference on AI. And the way I was so happy about that thing and I was like, this is what I'm talking about. And the way I'm gonna be like this proud, wife and business partner sitting up in your session cheering you on. And that's what I'm talking about. Like you can go out there and do that and talk about AI and talk about technology in a way that people understand it. That's a strength. And I love that about you. And I think that everybody should pump up their partner strengths because it is necessary for ultimate growth.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I'm really excited about going into this next season of my career is that while I never showed at a company, I've always done an excellent job. I've never been motivated to go above and beyond because I still had to support the house, the family, and still was supporting the business in a limited fashion. But
Yeah.
now I get to be Dr. Ramsey Unleashed, and now I can really push and expand the career and elevate the business in a way that I just wasn't capable of before. And I think that's really exciting.
Yes, it's exciting for me too. Because I mean, just the amount of things that you're going to be able to do and conferences and people and everything like that, it's going to be so good. So, um, what is as we close out, what's one goal that you would have for us and our business that you'd be willing to share with everybody else as we continue to grow as a power couple and we continue to grow this business?
Um, I guess my goal is to be the next vision of Black excellence. I mean, we can never have enough. Sometimes we get disillusioned by the real life of some of our power couple goals, not really making it, but it's human, it's real. And I just think we just need as many of us out there showing that Black love is real, it exists, and it's excellent.
And on that, drop the mic. No, yes, it is real. And I do think that more people need to see this, right? See this exchange, see these conversations that we have. And you have so much knowledge as well. So of course, now that you are, you in it, on a full-time basis, you'll be more regular on the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show as well, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I love your thought process about almost everything, even if we disagree. And I love those days as well, because I get sharper, you get sharper. So thank you so much, love, for being on the show.
And I guess there's one last misconception, is that it's always a couple. There's no singular success in this world. It's always a yin to somebody's yang. I'm just glad that we're able to show that to the world.
Wow. Okay, so you might get some pushback on that, shorty. So if I say, well, I'm a single person, what you say about that?
There's no such thing as a single person. I challenge you to pull out your phone and let me see what's the last 5 people you done called or text or FaceTime.
Okay. So you saying that nobody can succeed alone.
Nope.
Period. You still need somebody else, whether it's a spouse or a partner or somebody else to help you succeed.
It takes a village. Steve Jobs had his partner. Bill Gates had his partner. There's somebody behind always.
Yeah.
And we should celebrate that, because we're designed for community.
Yeah. And so if you're listening to this message and you feel like you are doing everything by yourself, get you somebody, get you a partner. And it can be as small as somebody who's helping you, potentially take care of the kids. It could be a family member, a relative. It could be a personal assistant, a virtual assistant, somebody to help you do what it is that you do best, because otherwise it's going to take you longer to get to where you're trying to go. So I love that. Any final words?
Nope. I guess the final word is just on the same note. There's somebody that believes in you. Just keep your eyes open and keep those people in your circle.
Yeah. And we have an amazing circle still too. Even outside of us, we have an amazing circle. And it motivates me for us to keep going, because we have such an amazing circle who are rooting for us and our success. So I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us on today's show. I hope that this show was beneficial to you. If it is, please share it with somebody. I'm sure somebody else can use all the information that we have shared on today's show. All right, y'all. You know that you have the opportunity to go out there and create your own happiness. So go out there